Hello my friends, how you all doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to our Planet Zoo series, Hyland Zoo. Today we're going to do a Zoo So Far episode. I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. You probably would have noticed on the channel last week there weren't any uploads. There was just an update that went up on the channel. Now for those of you guys that haven't seen the update, I'll link it above right now. I would really suggest going and watching that. I discuss why I've not been uploading very often, and I also discuss some other ideas that I've got and sort of where I see this series going. So I really do implore that you go and give that a little watch to find out exactly what's going on with this channel, why I've not been uploading as regular as I was at the beginning, and how we're going to attack it going forward. Now basically I thought as well we'd do a Zoo So Far episode because I've been doing a lot of stuff off camera. I've been trying to get all of those little pieces finished up and looking nice so that we can really start to push on with the zoo. There's little areas in the zoo that I look at sometimes and they do really annoy me. Like even this bit at the front, this little section over here was really starting to bother me. So I've just done some foliage, I've just put some trees in, and I've started putting the perimeter fence into the zoo. It goes all the way up here and we get the perimeter fence here, and that's going to go all the way around the zoo by the time that we're finished. So I just started doing all these little details. There's little things like the curbs of the road, and I need to do all the road markings. It's all those little nitty gritty things that need to be going into the zoo that I haven't had time to do. So basically, rather than make an episode, I took some time out and I decided to do some small detailing on the zoo and just add a few things that we didn't really need to put in a video. I've got a couple of ideas of what I want to do next, but I have hit somewhat of a creative block. I've been watching other guys that do Planet Zoo series and stuff, and their stuff is unbelievable, and for me, I have really hit a creative block and I don't know where to go next, and I don't want it to look as though I'm copying other people as well. So that's one of the reasons why I just took a bit of time and I started detailing the zoo in the little places that we need to. Now as far as the front lot's concerned, because we are going to take a look at the zoo, I haven't really touched this too much. I found a wonderful vehicle asset though on the Steam workshop. I'm not going to mention the people's names because I can't remember them off the top of my head, but what I will do, if you're interested, I'll leave all of their information in the description below, and you can go visit their Steam items on the workshop and download them for yourself. And one of the great ones was these car assets. They are amazing, and the great thing about them is if you click on them, you can literally recolor them. So you can just copy and paste and then repaint, and they're amazing. And they just give the car park a little bit more life and make it look really cool, and I really enjoy that. This is the sort of thing that I just haven't had time to really sit and make. I would love to be able to make stuff like this myself, but just haven't had the time. So that really finishes off the car park quite nicely. We've started reworking this area ever so slightly because we've now got this road that goes all the way up to the backlot area that goes under the bridge, because we're trying to keep with that. Now you will remember, guys, when we first started the series, I said this was going to be a realistic build. Now to some degree it is still very realistic. I'm still trying to do the backlot paddocks, I'm still trying to do all these staff hubs and all the rest of it, but I am going to throw it out there that it's very difficult now for me to remain as realistic as I wanted to, because I've just made a few glaring errors where where the zoo's concerned, and the way that I've done the paths and that. But that's one of the reasons why in that update video I discussed maybe doing a replicate series where we pick a zoo in the world and we try to replicate it the best we can, and that way it would be like an ultra realistic zoo. I've got some big ideas of what I want to do with this game. I want to do multiple series on the channel, and this is just the first, and we might even have some running alongside this. So yeah, that's all I've kind of done over here. As far as future, where the future's concerned, where this area is concerned, I am going to do a coach car park here. I've left this area over here blank for a reason, and that's what I'm going to do. I kind of keep all the assets that I haven't used, all my fences and stuff over here at the minute. It's a bit messy, I really should put that somewhere else, but that's what I am going to do, a big coach stop. Whether I do that on cam or not, we'll have to wait and see. But the main hub as well, we're not going to extend it, but we are going to put a couple of sort of like fake paddocks along here, so that, you know, animals that were in quarantine or whatever, that's where they would go. So that's why I've kind of left this little bit of area over here free as well. Not done any additions to the entrance because we really didn't need to, other than, you know, this foliage over here. I still need to get round to finishing this. I've done the majority of it. As you can see, it's heavily planted up. It's still looking really, really nice. The entrance, then you go through, and then a new addition here, ladies and gents, is that I've changed the signs in the zoo now. You will remember they were just, you know, a couple of little signs, but because we've got so much stuff in the zoo, I felt like we needed to do a bit of a rework. I wanted to get some cameras, security cameras in the zoo as well, because they don't only help with litter, but this is the sort of thing you would have in a zoo. So we're sort of colour coding for the areas that the animals are kept in, and that's essentially how it's going to work. But I think these look really, really nice. I might make these available for you guys on the Steam Workshop if you're interested. I know that these are the sorts of little things that people would quite like. You know, adding signs is really easy. So yeah, we've got these for all areas in the zoo now. So that's the only real sort of change that we've made to the opening of the zoo. I've changed a fence over here, so this fence now goes all the way up, and you know, we're just using a different coloured fence. I think it looks a lot nicer. We've fenced all this in, and I found these bin assets on the Steam Workshop. I think these look really cool, add a bit more realism to the back of the shops. You know, I still need to find a way to add something so we can add a piece of path here, because obviously the bins would need to be taken out of the zoo, so they'd go straight up here, and that's where the staff area goes there. So that's all we've done here. Just rework the fencing. As you can see, we continued the fencing over here as well, and it kind of finishes off Flamingo Point really, really nicely. I need to just put this on. It finishes it off really, really nicely, ladies and gents. Absolutely love it. I still need to redo the roof though, because as the zoo is evolving, I'm noticing there's little things that I really, really don't like. There's another one of those new, you know, signposts. This fence here is going to get deleted. I think we're going to recreate it, but in this colour, and we'll do it this side, and I think it will look really, really nice. I still need to do the sort of thanks for coming exit thing, but I have started to do some planting over here, and I've started to plant all of this area up. So, you know, you can see now that the flamingo exhibit really disappears into the foliage. This is another staff access road. We've put a high fence here, a low one here, and you'll see why in a moment as we turn the corner. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because I've started to experiment with new path, and this gravel path is really, really nice, and I think we're going to use this a lot more often. Now, as we go up here, you will remember this is where the okapi are, and if you watched last episode, all of this was very, very bare, but I've decided to do some work. I did do this, and I've recorded the actual speed build of this little shack. If you would like to see it, let me know in the comment section, and maybe I'll add it to next episode. But it was a very, very easy build, and just something very, very you know, very, very simple. This is the snack shack. That's what we're calling it on all of the notice boards and stuff, and I just thought we needed to create a really nice area for guests to come and sit, and so I put this little pond in here. We planted out really nice. We've got this rope fence and a couple of little seats, and yeah, we just got a hot dog and a slushy stand, and I just thought it was just added something really, really nice. Obviously I did the dual path here, because if people want to get up there quicker, they can go that way, or if they want to come see the okapi and eat, they go this way. And then in the middle, we just filled it with some nice rock work and some trees, just to really fill that in. Some more rope fencing here, and rope fencing all the way up to the bridge, which is now done. Now, you will remember this was chain link fence before, but I have reworked it, and I have made some African themed fence panels that I think look really, really nice, and they pen this animal in really well. I finished off the viewing platform as well, put all these details on the back, which I think look really, really cool. We've just basically finished this and polished this area off like it needed to be. The okapi, we've changed where their notice board is now. It's sort of suspended inside, and this is now the only way people can see the okapi. They're physically forced in here, which is what I wanted. I think this is a really cool little viewing area. There's a couple of benches in here as well, so people can you know, take a load off if they wish, and then they come in here. You will notice I've got the game pause, ladies and gents. It just makes it a little easier for me, rather than the notifications popping up every 5 minutes. So yeah, lovely little job. The okapis are now finished, which is really nice. We've got the little snack shack, and now we come up to the bridge, ladies and gents. Now the bridge wasn't done obviously last episode. I wasn't sure what sort of bridge I wanted to do, but what I've done is done a very classical sort of bridge in keeping with the entrance and the reptile house, kind of using the story that this was already here. This was already part of the park, and so we kept it in place. Now it is very tight, but that's just kind of what this has determined. That's how I'm going about it. Obviously we could have made this a bit bigger, but I decided against it. Now trailers and that do go through. This is another one I found off the Steam Workshop, a little animal trailer, which is really, really cool. I like this asset a lot. It does go through, it's just very tight. There would be a very low speed limit anyway, but I built the bridge. A lot of people will look at this when people are walking along it and say that it's not scaled. Now I've done it high on purpose because we don't want people looking in to the backlot area. Now I have planted it all up so they probably wouldn't see much anyway, but I've done it on purpose, and the other reason is I didn't want people standing on the bridge looking in the Carpi enclosure. I wanted them to just see the Carpis from here because they're a very shy animal, and I'm still trying to go as much as I can with the realism. So they come over the bridge, and then we've put a new little toilet block in, and again we're just going to treat this as though this little toilet block was already here. I need to change this fence because I'm really not a fan of it. I'm going to change it to the rope fence, and do the same thing we did the other side, and we're going to plant all this little area up in here really, really heavy with all this foliage on the ground like it's a real mess. I found this playground on the Steam Workshop. I haven't made this myself. Like I say, if I find stuff that can save me a bit of time, I will do it. Enclosures and all that sort of stuff, food buildings, I will do all that myself. That's going to be custom. But if I can find a little asset that can save me time, I will do it. And this is a fantastic looking little playground. Absolute props to the person who made it because it fits in here lovely as well. What I am going to do is build some little planters here and put some planters in just to finish this area off. But that's a little kiddies playground. Another staff area will take you to the backlot area. We haven't done too much back here, just adding a few assets, like a jeep and little food bags and things like that. It needs to be finished off. You'll see the hippos are at the back now. They're using this backlot area a bit more because we've got a few of them in here now, which is nice to see. And then we've got this big open space here. Now I'm thinking about putting another staff room in because we are suffering, and that's something that has been coming up a lot with my little notifications. The staff can't find staff rooms for them to use, so I might put a new staff room in here. You'll see I've just kind of bricked off the ramp down here, which has just finished this area off ever so slightly. We've really started to work in a load of details, boxes of food and things like that. I just want to bring these little areas to life if I can. So this little area is pretty much done. Now, the big thing that I've been working on is, of course, detailing the outside of this building. I've still got to do the inside, but as I say, I've had a bit of a brain fart recently, a bit of a creative block, and I can't really think of what I want to do on the inside of the building. But on the outside, I kind of knew what I wanted to do. So I've used this gravel path, and then we've created sort of like this lovely sort of this lovely little seating area, and then I've used the concrete and come up, use these little raised platforms. Now, one of the things I really wanted to do was, because this is the visitor centre, I wanted there to be unique sculptures and stuff like that. So that's exactly what I've done here. We've got the gorilla one, we've got a lion one here, and then we've got some nice planting. Really finished all this off. I think the rope fence looks really nice. I've started to do all the trim. There's going to be a sign on here, the visitor centre sign. I just need to make it, but that's why that's kind of been left as it is. I've still got a few little bits to finish as far as the trim's concerned, but it does take time, ladies and gents. Now, the one big thing I've done is I've finally managed to get the fountain put in, and I used this lovely sculpture to go in the middle, and then the fountain falls down the back. I'll press play. It might take a little while. There's so much going on in the zoo that it does take a little while. It's frozen now, and that's bloody typical because obviously we're trying to move on and we're trying to move around the zoo, and yours truly has cocked it up by pressing play. Oh, finally, it come to life, ladies and gents. So yeah, this is basically how the fountain looks. I really like it. It's very basic. We just used some nice metal. I wanted it to look very sort of very new. I didn't want it to be like an old-fashioned fountain, and I think it works really nicely and really just finishes this little bit of it off. Now I'm going to pause it again. Obviously it makes it easy. Now I've got a lot of planting to do, and it's the bit that I can't get round to doing. It just takes so much time, the planting, and obviously we want it to look a certain way. So I don't know. I've done some of the planting here though, which is a bit of a start. I really wanted to kind of finish this area off, so we started to mask the front of the building from where the people sit, stand and look at the hippos and stuff. Obviously you will know that the inside has got a viewing area. I will take you in here because this is a Zoo So Far episode, so you would get into this part of the building from inside the visitors centre. We put a lift in and stuff. For those that have seen this already, I apologise, but we put a lift in and stuff for people that wouldn't be able to walk down the stairs. There's a toilet in here, and then there's an underwater viewing area for the hippos, which is an area that I absolutely love. Custom made, like little everything in here is custom made basically, and even they've got these lights and stuff, and I just think it's a lovely area. People do use it, just not very often, obviously, because they're only going to use it when the hippos are close, and the hippos don't really come down this area all that often. A bit of a design flaw, I think, just from me, but it's one of those things, isn't it? We keep moving on. Obviously a lot of planting's been done. I've done some planting here, and then I've added a couple of seating areas near where the hippos are, and I think that these really add something to the area. I've done a couple of them, and people can really take a load off. The big thing I'd noticed when people were walking around was a lot of them were getting tired, and it's because they didn't have anywhere to sit. So that's something that I've really started to concentrate on. We've put this little sign here as well: don't feed the animals, and keep quiet and things. We need to start adding a lot more of that in. You're now going to see a lot more fencing's been done. Another signpost. Don't know why I've clicked on that yet. Another signpost here, a lot more fencing, and then a lot of foliage. I really wanted to try and finish these areas off, and obviously we've got the waterfall in. It's looking beautiful. It does a fantastic job, I've just absolutely loving the zoo now. As we move along here, as I say, I've changed this fencing. I think this fencing just looks so much nicer. We come over to this water fountain over here as well, and I've put some of that rope fence in front just to finish this off and just to keep it a bit different. We don't really need to go up here, I don't think. We just changed a few things where the flamingos get concerned. I changed their notice board. I really didn't like the one that was there before, and I'm really thinking about changing the gorillas ones and doing more like information based stuff, because the walls inside are very, very bare. And this is the thing that you realise as the zoo goes along, as the zoo evolves, you evolve with it, and you just like to change things as you go along. So as we go up here, we're back, ladies and gents, to the beginning of the zoo. As you can see, all of that has had a lot of work done. Now if we walk around this way, I have done a few little details around here as well. The first one being this, which was an area that was really winding me up, and I just needed to add something to finish this off. So there used to be a little gap on the floor here, because obviously we'd done the double pathing, and I couldn't fill it in, so I had to try and think of something. So we just put this little wall in, and we've got these seats either side, and I just think it just finishes it off nice. We use these beautiful little peacock sculptures as well. I really like them. A flower there. I'm thinking of doing another one of these and just moving it up to about here. I think that will finish the entrance off to the reptile house. I still haven't done the fountain in there. I must get round to doing that. As we move along here, you'll see I've done a lot of planting as well, changed all this up. I thought this was really garish before. I need to detail this building ever so slightly, but I'm not too fussed about it because it's a staff building, and I don't really feel like it has too much of an effect. People won't really see it all that much once we finish all this area off anyway, because I'm going to put a couple of trees in the entrance. I've just left it though until I do all the fencing. We come round here, nothing's changed where the Galapagos tortoises are concerned, and then we get to this area, and we've done a little rework round here as well. I've done a bit more foliage here, but then I've changed the fountain. Now this is still not 100% complete where I'm concerned. Basically we had gaps in the path, so I had to rework all the path. It was a real bloody nightmare this, but the one fountain now sits directly in front of the restaurant, and I just think it looks far nicer than what we had before. So I've put these planters in, but what I am thinking of doing is this and this line up. So I might change this ever so slightly and have this come down this way, and then we go to here, and then we go straight to here, and then we go up here, and then here and here. And I think it'll just look nicer. I'll try and rework that if I can, but it's still a lot nicer than it was, and finishes the front of the restaurant off. Walk round here, nothing's changed really. We come to here, brand new signpost. I've started doing all of the fencing, all of the foliage. I've changed the pathing up a little bit here. More foliage, and then yeah, we're kind of back to where we begun. And that, ladies and gents, is the zoo so far. I emptied it out of the guest to do this for you to make it easier. You know, I really think that the zoo is looking very pretty. You know, the gorilla habitat was one of the first ones we built. I haven't had to touch it. It is actually a very, you know, good build, if I am, you know, tooting my own trumpet. We've not had to evolve it at all. Obviously I want to do some stuff to the inside of that building, but it just fits in here nicely. Now, the big thing I've got now, ladies and gents, is obviously I do still have a few things that I need to do, you know, to finish off. Like, I've got this area here. I really don't know what to put in this area here. Do I just, you know, fill it up with foliage, or do I try and put an animal in there? You know, essentially this is where the Asian area was going to start, but I think if we've got an animal, you know, from an area that could go in here, that's just like a one-off in the game, maybe we could do that and then begin, you know, the Asian area up here. I really just don't know what to do with that area. This area here is being saved for the tiger. That's why this is put in here, because you know, I want to do a catwalk, and I needed the path to kind of be like it. We're going to remove this though and rework it. I think the guests will probably end up coming up this way for the tigers, and there'll be 3 ways to view the animal. We'll go down here, there'll be a splash zone for the tiger, and then we'll go this way, and there'll be like a drop off sort of you know, moat styled viewing area, and then when we come here, there'll be a glass area on the inside. But this circle bit here will be where the catwalk meets in its centerpiece. So yeah, it's just a lot of work, and I can't really think of how exactly I want to do it, which is why I haven't started it, and it's why I haven't brought you today an episode where we've done a speed build or I've built anything. I just have had a creative block, but I do really I do really need to try and find, you know, another animal, another thing to build, so that I can bring you something else. But I think we're done and dusted, ladies and gents. If you have got any suggestions for animals you'd like to see, any suggestions for what sort of thing you'd like me to build, even if it's not an animal, feel free to suggest a building or a food hall or anything like that as well, just to try to get my creative juices flowing again, because I really want to continue with this series. I'm just going to bring your attention once again, ladies and gents, to the update video that I mentioned at the beginning of today's episode. Do go check that out, because it will, you know, really fill you in. Basically, we haven't got enough subscribers on the channel at the moment to have the community page. Once I get that active on the channel, then that'll make life a lot easier, keeping you guys up to date. You can follow my socials as well. You'll find them in the description box. Any of the stuff that I've used from the Steam Workshop will all be in the description box as well, if you've liked any of that, my friends. But until next time, we're done and dusted. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, hit the like button if you've enjoyed today's video, and make sure you're hitting the bell notification button to never miss an upload. But my friends, until next time, you stay extra, and I'll see ya real soon.